everyone, it's the 49th gunner back again. Tonight we have our game, our first Champions League away game against RC Lens. I'll be making another video on that later. After the game I'll do a bit of a review, but that is not currently what I'm talking about. I've got some interesting news. January transfer tools, so I'll try and move that a little way away from the light. Anyway, yes, Ivan Toney. Now, Ivan Toney is our likely player that we're going to be signing in January. Hopefully that is happening. There's always, every day now when I get on Facebook, from what I've seen, transfer news, there's more and more chances of Ivan Toney coming to our club. I believe he'd be a very, very good signing for us. He's got a winning mentality. He's 27 years old. You know, he's big, 6'1" guy. He's won, you know, he's got a few honours. He's won the league trophy with Barnsley. He's got the Football League One playoffs, you know, the EFL League One. He won the championship with Brentford, obviously. That's where he's been, you know. He's also got a really good goal scoring rating, and 111 games, he's got 63 goals. And I think he's a really, really exciting player. I think he could play anywhere. I mean, he can play anywhere up top. He can get goals. He can play the false 9 position. He could play up top. He could play like a full out 11. He could play out on the wings. He can really, really excite the fans, I think, with his pace and his movement. I think he'd be another brilliant player. He'd be able to make fantastic little runs, you know, in and out. And I think, again, with our midfield, with Odegaard, I think he'd work really, really well with Odegaard. And Odegaard there would, I believe, only complement his abilities. I think that Odegaard really sort of can add finesse to these players, like I say, like we have with Martinelli, we have Saka. They're really, really lucky to have someone like Odegaard in the middle. And I think Ivan Toney to sort of come into the squad, maybe play up top. I think we could maybe have like a 3-2 up top. We could have Jesus and Ivan Toney sort of dropping maybe a little bit behind him, or vice versa. We could have Nketiah and Toney up top, and we could have Jesus out on the left if Martinelli's injured. Or, you know, there's quite a variation. We could play, you know, a sort of bigger midfield with just Toney up top on his own. I think the idea of getting him is really quite exciting, and hopefully I know there's been a bit of a problem with Ivan Toney. I won't go into details. He's obviously not playing at current, and I don't want to go into details on that because everybody has, you know, little problems, little things that they have, you know, in their careers, in their lives, in their standard jobs. You know, everybody makes mistakes, and I believe that I'm not going to go into that. I don't think that's necessarily really for the video. I think, you know, he's got a huge amount of potential. You know, he got an England cap. He's only got the one. He was nearly poached by the Jamaican Football Federation, who were looking for English-based Jamaican players to try and strengthen their squad. And obviously Ivan Toney was probably one of the first people that they thought, you know, we could try and get him. You know, fortunately, England, we were lucky to keep him. So I believe January transfer, let's hope it happens. I'm really hoping to see that happen. I would also like us to sign Victor Osimhen from Napoli, but I don't think he's going to leave. I think in an ideal world we'd be able to sign another midfielder, although I can't put a name to a face for the sort of player I feel that we'd need. Obviously, the little knock with Declan Rice and that back injury the other day. I know we have Toney and we have Jorginho backing up Rice, but I think Rice is kind of one of our most elite players now, and I believe, although they're obviously good players, experienced players, I believe we need somebody else in the middle to, you know, sort of really. I mean, obviously we have Partey as well, but Partey, he gets injured a lot. We've had Toney coming back from 9 months. You know, like I said, I don't think anybody is up to par with Rice, which which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's not been one pundit who sat there and said about that huge transfer that we spent him on. And that's very, very rare. There's been, you know, talk of like Modric with the big price. There's been talk of Grealish with the big price. There's a ton of City players that have had big price labels. And I mean, unless you're Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Neymar, you know, some of the big names, you're going to be one of the players that isn't sort of spoke about, or the price isn't really mentioned by the pundits, and that's something that generally can come up quite often with the huge price tags. Why aren't they scoring? Why aren't they getting assists? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Who are they arguing with? They always pick up on these things with these big transfers, and I think Declan is one of the few players, like I say, like your Harry Kane, you know, that puts in a good job, you know, does really well for the club. Much as Kane has with Bayern. I think it's good to see him playing in a team he deserves to be playing in, you know. I think there's many a fan who would agree that Kane deserved better than what he had, and I think Declan falls into that category as well. He got the sort of fairy tale for West Ham's level with their trophy win at the end of last season, but I think now he's got himself the Community Shield in. He deserves to be winning more. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see somebody who can back Rice up, I think, a bit better than what we have. Partey is always he's always injured. I don't know if there's something in their Arsenal squad that's a bit cursed. I don't know what's going on, but the amount of injuries we've been picking up, it's been quite consistent over the years. Obviously, we had Jack Wilshere, Aaron Ramsey, Thomas Rosicky. We had a few players, you know, that over the years we've had a few players that have picked up knocks kind of out of nowhere. And I remember Thomas Rosicky was regularly injured, and that was always frustrating, you know, for the fans. You know, but like I say, it's been a long time since we've had like a regular, consistent 11, since going back to the 2003, sort of 2014, you know, and that kind of era, you know, the era of, you know, Sol Campbell and, you know, them kinds of players, never injured, always fit. Thierry Henry, Dennis, Perez, Lundberg, I mean, they obviously suffered injuries here and there, but it seems that the injury rate is so much more, you know, consistent. And with the Champions League, you know, we want to progress in the League Cup, although the League Cup isn't as important as the other trophies. It's primarily the Champions League, the Premier League, we want to be progressing in, doing well in and holding our own in. But we need all the players. We need them all fit. We need Trossard. We need Martinelli. We need Reece Nelson. We need Saka. We need all of the players. We need a unity. And that unity can only really happen when there's not injuries. You're always going to have someone who's injured and disheartened. There's always going to be someone who's disheartened if they're injured. You know, it's a part of life, whether it's football or whether it's anything, any sport, you know. So, like I say, the fitness is generally a bit of a concern. It's good to see that Partey's back. But I kind of worry about Partey every time he plays. He's going to pick up, you know, a knock, and that's quite, I'd say that's quite the same with a lot of the players, you know. I don't think that's something that us sports fans want to really be worrying about when we're watching teams. Oh no, hopefully so-and-so doesn't get injured, so-and-so doesn't get a knock again, so-and-so, you know, this doesn't happen to so-and-so again, you know. So, yes, so hopefully Ivan Toney can bolster our squad, but I still feel that we need another big name top striker. I think now we want to stay up, we want to stay in the Champions League, we want to compete in the Cups. We're going to need another midfielder, we're going to need another striker, and I think we need Toney as well. Toney's fantastic, and I think Toney needs to join our squad, but he's not quite that big single front man we need, the big sort of Haaland player that we need. You know, right, sitting up top on his own, you're confident he can just sit there, he can do the work, he can do the business, he can pull back, he can score goals, he can do whatever. Yeah, but definitely I would say Ivan Toney, that would be a great signing for January, and hopefully it happens. Thank you very much. I've been the 49th Gunner, and like I say, we'll have another video out as soon as we find out. Let's keep our fingers crossed for tonight against Nice. Let's see how that goes. confident, but I'm not going to discuss that one yet. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Come on, you Gunners. Thank you.